Hola familia, hi family, greetings. Ooh. So today, hoy, I would love to talk about projections. 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 Basically, my understanding of them and what I've experienced, and also what I've projected onto others, because I feel like projections is huge and it's big and it's happening all the time if you are not conscious or aware of it. So let's get into it. Ooh, tap in. So, projections. From my understanding and my perspective on projections, projecting is when you see or feel something within you that you don't like. So instead, you point the finger at the other person and say that it's them. So let me rephrase that, if anything. When you project onto others, it is usually because you feel triggered or uncomfortable with whatever is coming up or whatever you're seeing. So you rather push it away and say that it's someone else. That's what projecting is at the point and just overall. Because a lot of the times we see our own shadow, our own insecurities, our own flaws, or whatever we think we're lacking. We see those things in another person. So when we push it away and say that it's another person, we are basically hindering our own growth. We are basically not allowing ourselves to go through the process of truly seeing ourselves fully. Because if we are all reflections, what you see in another is reflecting you. Remember, we are all each other's smoky mirror, because you don't really see the person fully for who they are. You see all of the trauma, the baggage, the insecurities, the ego that you are. And sometimes it is really triggering when you come across someone else who is just reflecting back to you everything that you haven't healed. It's a process, and it's really, I don't want to say difficult, because it's not difficult. It's doable. Anyone could do it, but it's really uncomfortable and it takes time. It's really something that you have to take time to sit with and really analyze and acknowledge what it is that you feel triggered about, or what wound is being poked at by you seeing this person, or by you just seeing anything in life. Because I said that everything is reflecting us. Everything is reflecting you. Everything is literally a picture of what you are. That's how we understand the world. That's how we move through this reality, because we are seeing ourselves. We are seeing little bits of pieces of ourselves, which we recognize, which is why we either vibe with or we don't, because some things are reflecting, some things are not. Some things are familiar, some things are not. So 9 times out of 10, it's not that we don't like someone else, or it's not that we don't vibe with someone else. It's just that we still haven't accepted that part of ourselves. So it's kind of hard to vibe with someone when you haven't accepted either that shadow or whatever it is that that person is reflecting in you. And when it comes to projecting and when it comes to projections, usually people will say the most funniest things about you or to you because they don't want to sit with the fact that, you know what, maybe I'm jealous, maybe I'm triggered, maybe I do feel envy, maybe this is causing some jealousy in me, or whatever emotion. I say those emotions because those are usually the main and most used and felt by the collective. It's a shadow that a lot of us are still learning to love, to heal, to accept, and it's okay. It takes time. However, when you come across someone who is aware of that concept and of that type of lens or perspective, it's hard for you to point the finger because, one, they probably know themselves, so whatever you say or whatever you do doesn't faze them. And two, whatever your perspective is doesn't matter to them because they've done the work and they've accepted those flaws or those shadows. The funniest projection I've received has been, "Oh, you're so young, how would you know?" So when I receive that projection, automatically my first thought is the ego's hurt. They haven't accepted whatever shadow they're seeing in me. They haven't fully accepted who they are, and they don't really truly know themselves at the core, because if they did, they would not be saying that. If they did, they would not care about what I am doing or what I am saying and overall who I am. Because it takes time to really project things onto others. It takes energy to really analyze and observe and have the audacity to say that, how would they know if they're young when that has nothing to do with what they're saying and their point is. So when we dissect that phrase, like, "Oh, she is too young, how would she know?" automatically it's like, well, one, wisdom and knowledge comes from experience, not age. Two, we are more than this vessel, we are a soul. And three, why are you concerned with someone's age and the wisdom that they're sharing, especially if it's true, especially if the person is really saying and speaking facts? So that trigger, because it's a trigger to the person, that trigger is something that they need to analyze and sit with, not the other person. And in this example, not me. I don't have to sit with that. I've accepted the fact that we are souls and that this is just the vessel, the vehicle that I am driving at the moment. And yeah, I am young. I'm old soul with a young body. So that trigger to the person could mean a lot of things, a lot of different things, but it's not for me to hold, and it's not for me to be like, oh, yeah, maybe they're right. No, absolutely not. I know thyself. I know myself. I've done enough work on myself to be at this place right now and say that you cannot push your triggers onto me. You cannot point the finger onto me, because I know what's me and what's not. And if I do feel triggered, because it happens to me too, I've projected onto people without knowing. Like sometimes we do it unconsciously. Like I said, if we're not conscious of this idea or of this concept, which is projection, and we are not conscious of it, we are subconsciously doing it onto others. And it isn't a bad or harmful thing, but in the long run, it stops you from fully connecting with others and seeing others for who they truly are. But not only that, it stops you from fully and just wholeheartedly accepting and loving yourself and seeing who you are at a totality, seeing who you are at a totality as a whole. And I feel like part of learning projections is doing shadow work. It's so important because, like I said, sometimes even seeing our shadow on another person triggers us. And then we gotta project the whole, well, they're being this way, they're this, they're that. When it's like, okay, and if they are that, what does it have to do with you? What does it have to do with you? Unless they're really causing harm or really abusing you, like physically, mentally, and it's like for sure, okay. But if they're just being them and you have something to say and you start putting all of these ideas in your head about who they are, what they're doing, what they're saying, just all these little ideas and thoughts that come into your mind about who this person is, it's projection. Again, it's projection because, again, 9 times out of 10, it's not them, it's you, it's who you are. There's this quote that says, how you perceive me is who you are. What you see me is who you are. And honestly, I think the quote is something like that. It's in between those lines, okay? But basically the whole point is just literally what you see in me is who you are. The good and the bad, the ugly and the beautiful. It's you, it's who you are. So when we start thinking of what people are doing or saying or just who they are, it's who we are. Keyword think. If you have to think about it, it's who you are. When you feel, that's the intuition. When you feel something, that's truly who they are or who you are. Because you can't, energy doesn't lie, and the vibes just, you can't deny that. You can't deny the vibes. So, like I said, I projected onto people. I am guilty on that, and I learned from it. I learned to sit with my shadow. I learned to sit with my triggers. I learned to sit with those ideas and thoughts that I had about others. I learned to love it all and see it all and accept it all. And it's not always easy. It's a process. It's time consuming because you need to take time and really do it. And it's about commitment as well. Commitment to your growth, commitment to really knowing yourself, commitment to growing and learning and being again. I might have said growing 2 times because literally it's about growth. It's about soul growth. It's about spiritually and mentally growing. And we asked for this. We asked for these experiences, these people in our lives. We asked for all of it. every single thing has been so divinely orchestrated for our soul's growth and our being's evolution. I am a strong believer that the more the world understands these concepts and just listens to it, you don't even have to accept it or, go by it, but just taking it with a grain of salt, just sitting with it, food for thought type of thing, with this concept, it will make life easier, because now we won't be going around pointing the finger at everyone, and we can literally come back to self. Come back to thyself. Because this journey is all about learning who I am at a soul level and unlearning everything that society programmed us to believe and all of these limitations and this box that sometimes we grow up in, or like I said, society puts us in. So this is really for the truth seekers and for the people that want to be liberated and who are just open-minded, open-hearted, and just open for the unexpected and for the mysteries that the universe has to offer. So basically, I pretty much went through what projection is, what I feel like projections are, my experience, and I just want to conclude it all with, you don't have to go about life pushing away your trauma and your baggage, because eventually it will catch up. Everything always catches up. So you really don't want to do the work later and have a whole pile of things and not know where to start, when you could do it in that moment. Whenever that thought, that feeling, that triggered, that uncomfortability, whenever that pops up in your body or in your mind, take a moment to sit with it. Observe it, analyze it. What is this teaching me? What is this reflecting in me? We are all mirrors. We are all mirrors. And I love to say that I am a sacred mirror, because truly, like, I feel at the core being of my soul that I am. I have an integrated shadow, and I also have this love and light that is strong. And I've noticed from my experience, when I come across people, I get the duality of some people accepting me and loving me, and others feeling triggered and not wanting to be around me. And that's okay. I'm cool with it, because I've embodied the concept that I am not for everyone. I did not come here to be liked. I came here to be loved. I am gonna be true to myself first and foremost before trying to please others. And that's on self-respect and knowing thyself. So be aware of projections. Be aware when people are projecting onto you. Be aware when you are projecting onto others. And the easiest way to know when someone is projecting onto you is when they have a story about you that is not true. Those are projections. When someone says something about you that you know at the core that isn't you, that's a projection. When people have things to say that they don't know anything about, that's a projection. When you have concepts and ideas of what another person is or is doing, that's a projection. Unless you've asked, like in the 4 agreements, don't assume, ask. Unless you have asked and this person is saying, yes, that's who I am, or yes, this is what I'm doing, or no, that's not what I am. No, that is not what I'm doing. Unless that has happened, unless you have had that conversation with the person, then it's a projection. If that hasn't went down, then you're projecting or they're projecting. So that's how you'll know if they're projecting on you or you're being projected on. And it happens, like I said, it happens. Sadly, we live in a world where it's easier to push and point the finger than take accountability and say, you know what, that's who I am. That's a part of me. And it's nothing to shame or feel guilty about. Just take back your power and stand in your integrity and accept the truth. And it's not my truth. It's not your truth. It's not their truth. It's the truth, the universal truth. Because honestly, a lot of the things I speak about, yes, they're my truths, but I'm going based off the universal truths and just what I've learned and wisdom that I've gained. So that's the message for today. Remember to love it all. Accept it all. See it all. And be one with it all. Ooh. Well, that's pretty much it. That's all I had to say about projections. And hope you guys have a magical day. Till next time. Bye.